Welcome to Denver Block by Block. I'm Eric Sultan, and this is the show where I show you the real Denver, one neighborhood at a time. Today, we're going to discuss one of the biggest myths in real estate, the fact that you need 20% down to buy a home. That idea is not just outdated, it's incorrect, and it's stopping people from gaining wealth through real estate ownership because you just don't need that much. Let's talk about how much you really need, how this works, and how this can get you into one of Denver's hottest neighborhoods without having to save up for years and years. So what really are your options for financing if you don't have 20% down? 20% down, it can be seen as the gold standard. You don't have to pay mortgage insurance, although mortgage insurance isn't very expensive. So you can put 10% down. It's totally normal, makes you look very strong in the eyes of sellers. You can also put 5% down. 5% down is probably where about 30% of my buyers wind up putting 5% down. Some of them because that's what they have, that's what they've been able to save. And some of them because they want to save the rest of their cash to do other things with it. Sometimes that's for upgrades to their homes, and sometimes that is so they can just keep their money in the market, making more money for them instead of putting that into their home purchase. Other options are FHA loans with 3.5% down. VA loan, if you're a veteran, often you can get a loan with 0% down. And there's a lot of first-time home buyers programs where you can purchase with 3% down and not have to pay anything back. Sometimes there's even grant programs where you can get a down payment from the city, and that down payment doesn't have to be paid back as long as you own the house for a certain amount of time. So there's a lot of options aside from 20% down. So here's some numbers to think about. If you're thinking about purchasing a $700,000 home in Mayfair, you could put 20% down. That'll be $140,000 down. Get that home if you have $140,000 today. If you don't, you could put 5% down. That's $35,000. Still a hefty chunk of money. It's still, showing you've got real skin in the game. You're truly invested, but you might be able to do that today, or you might be able to do that 6 months from now, as opposed to saving that $140,000, which might mean that it's another 2 years down the road before you're able to buy that home. Well, if that house appreciates at 5% per year, the home itself could cost $35,000 more next year when you go to buy it. And 2 years from now, it would be over $70,000 more. It makes a big difference when you buy your home, not just how. In neighborhoods like Montclair and Mayfair, Park Hill, Congress Park, we're seeing shifts. We're seeing shifts in the people who are buying homes. We've seen a huge shift in prices, which makes some of the old ways of doing things just not make as much sense anymore. You have to make a choice. You have to make a choice as to whether you want to own a home, whether you want to be part of that ability to gain equity and have an asset that usually appreciates. In neighborhoods like Congress Park, Mayfair, Montclair, Park Hill, we're seeing a real generational shift. We're seeing a lot more younger people who are really interested in walkability, charm, all the different things they can do in those neighborhoods. And you've got a real question of whether you want to spend the amount of time that's required to save $100,000, $200,000 for a down payment. I've been able to help a lot of people get into their homes, be really, really happy. I've been able to help an awful lot of people get into their homes with just 3% down, 5% down, strategically figured out closing costs, and they are building generational wealth now instead of just saving in order to hopefully build some wealth sometime in the future. Well, I feel like I've walked halfway around our beautiful park, Cheesman Park. It's 80 acres, it's a lot of walking, but I require an awful lot of takes just to create one short video. So I'm gonna make a quick stop over here at the Secret Garden Cafe. This is a cafe that opened up in 2024, right on the park. grab a little something to eat and maybe a little iced tea, and get back to filming in just a minute. Just finished lunch at the Secret Garden Cafe. It was wonderful and great company. The sun was out. I had a nice little table all to myself where I got to think about all the work that I have to do this afternoon. And now I am off to count the trees in Cheesman Park. Fun fact, there's 1,800 of them. If you're thinking about getting serious about buying a home here in Denver, there's just a few small steps you should probably take. First of all, talk to a respected local lender. Ask about what kind of programs they have. Ask about low down payments. Ask about CHFA, which is a program that might just make your down payment for you. And then give me a call. I'm happy to schedule some showings. We can go out and take a look at some houses together. So I hope that you've seen that buying a house in Denver doesn't require putting 20% down. If you're on the fence thinking about it, give me a call, or you can reach me at eric@denvercitybroker.com if you want to send me an email. I'd be happy to discuss any of this stuff with you. Absolutely no pressure. You don't have to sign anything to talk to me. Just trying to get in the game. So I hope you've learned that you don't need to put 20% down if you want to buy a house in Denver. Drop a comment. What's your biggest fear about buying a home in Denver right now? I would love to hear. And if you know somebody who's thinking about buying a house and thinking about saving up 20%, share this video with them. And don't forget to subscribe and explore Denver with me, block by block. In case you're wondering, the place where I am doing this video today is Cheesman Park. It's an 80-acre park in the middle of Denver. It's on the east side of Denver. This is not even one of our biggest parks. We have a few 150-acre parks, and that there's City Park, which is just about a mile and a half away from here. That's a 350-acre park. It's gorgeous here. It was on my way, and I was sick of being in the car, sick of being in the office, and why not just enjoy the people watching and the sun and the trees outdoors in Denver. I mean, outdoors is what we do best here. So I decided to just take advantage of it today. So let me tell you a story about a couple that I met at an open house just last year. They were doing exactly what I'm talking about here. They were waiting to save up their 20% down payment. They wound up sitting down, talking to me, talking to a lender, and they decided that in order to get their dream house in Congress Park, it would actually make more sense to buy now with a smaller down payment. They bought with a 5% down payment and just move forward. They were able to make the payments no problem. They had stable jobs, stable income. It all made sense. And now, instead of thinking about their dream home while they're renting, they're living in their dream home, and they have a big asset that's appreciating in value every year.